Right, we are talking about entity framework with MVC, and what you are seeing now was done with entity framework and MVC with no code written, no single line of code written. So there is an application that displays data, so you can see the edit works. If you click on edit, you can make changes, save, back to list. You can view the details, you can also delete, you can create new record in here. So we are going to create this with entity framework and MVC in this tutorial, in this few minutes tutorial. It's really very easy. No single line of code will be written. It's really so interesting. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to close Visual Studio so that we can start from a clean slate. This is the data we use. As a takeaway, I'm going to show you how to send this data to Microsoft SQL Server. I'm using Microsoft SQL Server Developer Edition 2018. So if you don't have, you can just download it for free. If you go to Google and just say Microsoft, let's say SQL Server Management Studio for free. So this is Management Studio. You can download it for free. So you can download it here for free. The first one. So for SQL Server, you can also download SQL Server for free. So if you go to SQL Server, SQL Server free, download. So you come to this page. So if you go to downloads, I want to tell you that do not download the Express edition, download the Developer edition. So this is free and it contains everything you need. So I've already downloaded and installed. But if you have any other edition, it's going to work. Alright, so this particular data is what we are going to use. I'll put a link in the description box in case you need this data. So I'm going to open MS SQL Server. Yeah, SQL Management Studio. So I'm going to import this Excel sheet. So just open. So I'm going to take you through the steps. So the first thing you are going to use is to find the databases node here, the databases node. So just say new database. I'm going to call it let's call it entity framework DB. So we call it entity framework DB. So you create a new database, and that is all you need to do for now. So the next thing you do, we need to use this data. So how do we do it? So what you do is you right click on the database and just say go to, you open up or drop down the databases and select the one we just created, this entity framework DB. Okay, I think there is a typo. Yes, I'm renaming entity framework DB. So right click and go to tasks and just go to down here, you see import data. So in import data, you have this window. So just go next. You want to specify the data source, that is where is the data coming from, is coming from an Excel file. So drop down and select Microsoft Excel from the list. So in the next part, you select Excel file part. So you browse and then choose the file. So for me, I kept it inside a folder. So just select it. The next thing you are going to specify, also remember that you need to specify first row has column names. So the next thing you are going to choose is destination. The destination is the database we created, and that is SQL Server Database. So you drop down here and go to the last part and choose SQL Server Native Client. Depending on the version of SQL Server you have, it might be 10.0, it might be 11.0. So choose it and then Here you'll see a list of database, so you select database you want to use. So normally if you clicked on it when you were starting to import, then you have it already selected. We can also have created a new database from here, but we already created one before now, so just go next. Do you want to copy data from one or more tables? So it's in sheet 1, that is where the data is. So because if you open the Excel sheet, you see sheet 1, that is where our data is. So sheet 1, and say if you look at a preview, you can see that everything is okay. So go next, and then go next, and then finish. So at this point, it creates the database. I think I can just leave this. I think the database has been created. So what I'm going to do is just refresh. And let's look at Tutorial DB. No, Entity Framework DB. That is the database we are working on. And then tables. You can see it's created as sheet 1. So to check if there is data inside, right click and say select top 1000 rows. And you see that the data is, oh, the data was not imported. Okay, so let's just repeat the process. Now I'm going to do it real fast. So first I'm going to delete this, I'm going to delete it. Yes, delete. And I'm going to just do it real fast from task, import data, and then next. Then choose Excel, browse, select, and then next. Okay, here we choose a destination, so choose the last one. Then next, the first one. So proceed. So preview, everything is fine. So next, and just finish. So everything went fine. At this time, we have our data in there. So it's there as sheet 1. I'm going to call it people because it's just a list of people. So I've created my database, so I'm done with SQL Server. So the next thing I'm going to do is to start a new application in Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2017. It's a free one, so you can also download. So just go ahead to start a new project. So what I did, let me take you through. Just say File, New, Project, and then choose ASP.NET Web Application, and just say EF Lesson. That is the name of the project. So just say OK. Choose MVC and say OK. So it goes ahead to create the project for us. So after creating the project, the next thing we are going to do is to add Entity Framework to the solution. So remember to subscribe while we are waiting for it. See the subscribe button below this video. Just click on it to subscribe so that you get notification. So check that you have the controller, check that you have the model, and check that you have the views. Well, since I have time constraint, I would like to stop here and start a second video or the next video on this. So I would like to thank you for viewing. I remain Kindson, and leave a comment if you have any challenges about this lesson.